Again, the quality of the vehicle has been quite satisfactory. The interior seems to be holding up in quite a good shape, as you can probably see. You will see in pictures. I will post those pictures with this chat. The inside, I had one little plastic tab break while moving a seat, indicating to me that the plastic used throughout the vehicle is not of the highest quality. It's not such high quality, so I could probably expect cracks and maybe something else breaking, plastic part breaking in the near future, maybe in the next year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the future, if I have the vehicle that long. Hopefully I will. And again, if this didn't record, which I think my recording stopped when I was mentioning this, I am being charged every year here in the backward southern racist state of Georgia, and I am being charged a petroleum or gasoline tax every year, about $200 every time I register this electric vehicle. That state tax is being imposed on electric vehicle users in a few states, in about 8 states within the country, the republic. Out of the 50 states, 51 states, 8 of them are charging that fuel tax. And of course, not to your surprise, is here in the south, the backward and racist south. So excuse me, I'm going through a little bit of rough roads here, jumping around a little bit, but the vehicle itself is quite a nice drive. It's a little rough. The suspension is a little rougher than I would like. However, that little roughness is also the cause for it to be agile. It's very responsive when it comes to turning and hugging the road. It's quite responsive to the acceleration, to your foot pedal. When you have it in D drive, which is basically your normal, you have 2 modes: D for drive, normal, and B for, I'm not sure what the B stands for, but it's the mode that saves you more charge. Basically, it is a little more aggressive when it comes to regenerating the battery through slowing down and braking. And you can notice that as you let go, if you're driving in B mode, if you let go of the accelerator, the car will likely come to a complete halt on its own very quickly, and you can see on the dashboard the amount of charge that is regenerating back to the battery. That's basically a feature from the induction engine that it has, AC, alternating current motor that it has, not an engine but a motor. So that is a helpful feature there, especially when you're trying to extend your range. Again, extending your range is as simple as 1, slowing down, 2, knowing when to accelerate and to not accelerate. For example, when you go uphill, you want to accelerate very gradually, if any. Yes, you may be slowing down, you will be slowing down as you go up a hill, but if you watch your dashboard, you watch the little bubbles, dots that indicate how much charge you're using. That'll tell you if you're extending or diminishing your range too much. So That's something you want to be watching as you're driving if you want to extend your range. Is those dots on your dashboard. If you keep it at 1, you're doing optimally. You're basically extending your range to the maximum. 2 dots, you're doing okay. 3 dots, you're probably, spending more than you want to. 4 dots, you will be running out of charge sooner than expected. So you want to keep it at around 1 or 2 dots. It's hard to do sometimes, especially if you're driving up and down hill on roads, which it's basically most of the time. Very rarely, unless you live in a very flat area, like maybe the northeast. No, excuse me, the northwest, or the plains, or probably in Florida, which is quite flat. Unless you're driving in those states or regions, you will be using more charge in this vehicle. So this vehicle for Florida, or the Salt Lake area, or the areas of the Great Plains, it's probably a good fit for someone trying to extend their range to the maximum. But like here in the middle Georgia area, where there's quite a bit of hills and up and down roads, you will be spending more charge. So again, I get about 0.73% of the charge that is indicated on the dashboard, which is not the same as your actual range. The actual range again is 73% right now for this vehicle, a 2016, about 17 to 18 months of use, 31,147 miles of use. The vehicle itself is not probably a good fit if you live in a northern latitude where it gets quite cold, because the heating element, the force, has got to be electric. It's an all-electric vehicle, and that's going to drain your battery down to the ground very, very quickly. Your range will probably half of what you have. It'll be about 50% of what you have indicated on your dashboard, and you will not get a lot of charge or running range from it. Probably the people that do have it in the northern latitudes, which I'm not discouraging no one from purchasing or using the vehicle if you live in a cold place. It's probably a good idea, and it's probably something that's widely used to keep the car warm. If you keep it in a garage, heated garage, even better. If you keep it in if you keep it outside and it gets frozen cold, then it's probably a good idea to have some sort of heat on the vehicle on the inside to keep it warm, to where when you step in, you're not trying to defrost the whole vehicle inside, the environment inside, the air inside. That way you're not using all of your car's battery just to heat it up. And the battery performs quite well when it's colder, so that is a plus of using it in a northern or southern hemisphere where it's quite cold. There are northern, far north or far south latitudes. Here in the subtropics, it does get quite warm and hot during the summer, and I have had the battery go a little bit into the red, basically getting a little bit too warm. However, it has not gotten to the point where the car needs to shut down and cool off. I believe this car is basically air cooled no fans, no sort of cooling system is on board, so it's basically cooled through air, basically rushing wind, rushing air coming through the bottom of the vehicle is what cools the batteries. And that is going to be all for now. I am again quite satisfied. Another thing that I did change on the vehicle so far, 2 years in, about 28,000, 29,000 miles into it, were the front tires. I had a set of Firestones on them. I forget the model, but they were basically balding on the outside, on the outboard of each tire. They were going bald pretty bad, so I had to change those 2 tires in the front. The ones in the back are pretty much in good shape, pretty much new looking. They do have a little bit of wear, but not much at all where you can notice it. And again, I have new tires in the front now, maybe because of the weight distribution of the car. The alignment in the car, made those tires go flat or bald quite quickly. I mean, 30,000 miles is not much for a set of tires, but that's about the only thing I've had to spend money on the vehicle. No oil changes, no kind of keeping up with transmission fluid, no keeping up with no kind of radiator. There's no such thing in this car. No radiator, no, it probably has some sort of gearing, but I don't think it has transmission where it needs fluid. You do have to keep up with the brake fluid, which I haven't even looked at for 2 years. Like I said, the car, the minute, just like a golf cart, if you've driven one, the minute you take your foot off the accelerator, the car starts braking as it charges. I guess that's the counter voltage, the counter current within the induction motor. That basically brings the car to almost a complete halt. You can basically not use your brake much if you time yourself good during red lights or stop signs, and you can save a lot of brake pads just by doing this, braking with your motor pretty much. And I haven't had to change the windshield wiper just yet. It works fine. The one in the front or rear. The interior is holding up quite good. No tears, no cracks yet. The exterior, the paint on it, I put the perma plate coating on it. They were trying to charge me at the dealership $2,000 for, but they put it on anyway. They put it on even though I didn't want it. I wasn't going to pay $2,000 for it. They put it on for free. Come to find out, the first application was included, which they were withholding from me that information. They were withholding that information to tack on $2,000 more. Like I said, these backward ass Georgians out here, they're complete sharks at the dealerships. I've gotten messed up more than once by them, and I know it's mostly my fault, but again, there's no such thing as trusting these bastards here at the dealership. They promised me that the $7,500 rebate was actually a check that was to be cut by the government for purchasing this vehicle. No such thing. I was assured that this was the case. Come to find out, it's just a shitty rebate that you never get to see unless you win, unless you make more than $90,000 or more per year, which of course I don't. So that was a complete farce from that salesman, which I gave horrible ratings, and I threatened with a lawsuit a couple of times. So I have never made it back to the dealership, even though they did recommend me to take it in every year for some sort of battery checkup, but I'm never going back in that place. I mean, I hate that bastard that sold me this vehicle, not because of the fact that he sold me the vehicle, but because he lied. He bold-faced lied to my face about that $7,500 rebate. And the bastard didn't even negotiate the price of vehicle, just because Nissan was giving $4,000 rebate. He took it off of the MSRP. He took off the $4,000 from the MSRP, which is the absolute highest price that you will pay for the vehicle without negotiation, which is ridiculous. My credit at the time was 8+, so I did qualify at least for a 0% financing, which I'm paying no financing, which is about the only plus I got. Plus maybe the $4,000 were the only two things that came out okay from that that sale. However, I am not at all regretting getting the vehicle. I think I could have gotten better terms on it as far as the total cost. I ended up paying close to $30,000 for this. Take away the $4,000 and then take away the down payment, which I made of about $2,800. Brought it down to about 26 left on the loan, which I'm still paying. I owe about half that right now, and see how it goes in a couple of years. Hopefully I'll have it paid off, and hopefully I'll get about a good 6, 7, 8 more years of use after that, with the same battery. Hopefully battery technology for these vehicles will be drastically reduced, and perhaps I'll be able to replace the battery